Hi there, my name is Glenn Murray. I'm a candidate for mayor of the city of Winnipeg. I'm here with a friend of mine and a neighbor around the corner from where I live, Rebel. I want to talk to you a little bit about Rebel's story and about something that we had in Winnipeg that we were very proud of that was taken away a few years ago. And that was the Refugee sponsorship insurance program. So how long did you live in Ethiopia and then how long in Kenya before you were able to get to Canada?
I lived in Kenya for 2.5 years, almost 3 years, and in Ethiopia for the first 6 years of my life, 6 to 7 years of my life.
Right.
Yeah.
So your parents had already left Eritrea?
Mm-hmm. So when Eritrea and Ethiopia initially had made peace in 1991, a bunch of Eritreans and Ethiopians went to each other's countries. After that war had restarted, that border war, then things got really ugly. So we were one of the more fortunate ones. A lot of friends I had lost, they haven't seen their parents. Their parents have been locked up for over 30 years. They have uncles that have
Their
been
parents have been locked up for over 30 years.
There's people who were taken the same time my parents were. So about now 25 years ago, and they still haven't come out of prison. They're still arrested. Their families have never heard from them. They don't know if they're alive.
So if you hadn't got it out, or maybe we're another way, for the people who did not get out, what is life like for them?
So
obviously being locked up for decades is part of that, right?
Yeah, so if we hadn't gotten out, our parents would have been locked up. My dad would not have been allowed to leave the prison. He would still be locked up. As far as my mother, she might have been released, but there isn't really a leniency on male or female or anything. It's just, you're a traitor, you're a traitor. And that's how people who are being sent back were viewed as traitors. So it wasn't like, oh, Ethiopia kicked us out, we could go back to Eritrea and we're okay. Eritrea was like, well, you were there for quite some time, who knows if you've turned. For me and my brothers, we would have all been conscripted till the age of 16 in Eritrea, which is the mandatory conscription.
Before 16?
Yeah, before 16. You go. It's a military school. So I guess not conscription.
So you're 10 years old, you're going to military school.
Yeah, and you stay there till you're 16. At 16, you take a metric test, and if you score high enough, you're allowed to continue your education to try and potentially get into a university or a college. If your marks didn't match up in the metric system, at 16 you were turned to work within the army, within the labor sector, and within the defense sector. And then once you were 18, you were officially instated into the Eritrean army, and you kind of have to do what you're told.
If you were trying to describe what it's like to be a Canadian and how you feel about it to someone who's never left Eritrea, what would you say to them?
I feel free, and it's cliche, but there's not a lot of people who know me who would tell you I'm shy. I don't feel constricted. What I remember feeling when I was young was oppressed. There's the word, yeah. I felt oppressed. I was never free to be who I wanted to be. I always had to watch what I said. I always had to look around me before. That's led me to be a little perceptive as I've grown older, which is nice, but it's uncomfortable. It's just a very uncomfortable way of living. Once we found out we were coming, my dad threw a block party. It was like a 2-day event. The first day I was celebrating. The second day I was saying your goodbyes.
You had a block party in Nairobi.
In Nairobi, yeah.
Okay.
So we were super excited. I think for me, this program, living out there, you have to kind of pick your opportunities. There isn't many, and there's 2 or 3 directions you can take, and you have to pick that direction, and you have to go there. Being allowed to come here, it's allowed a lot of freedom for myself and my brothers in terms of the paths we've chosen for our lives. All 3 of us are very much into creative lifestyles, and we weren't really able to explore those there. There just isn't room for that. It's more survival, and it's more what's next, what's coming.
As a Winnipegger, what are the things you most love about your city?
I love this city. I have fun I can go for just a walk sometimes, and we live in a beautiful place. It's like an urban forest. There's greenery everywhere. Everyone is smiling. We have 3 months of summer, but those 3 months are so enjoyed and utilized. And I think that's what I like. I'm just it's very grateful. It is a grateful air to the city, and maybe not everyone experiences it that way, but that's how I experienced it. I think partially because I'm grateful to be here.